Moving on now, we'll talk about security. I guess health is also part of security. That was to one side. Now we're looking at the war against crime, all sorts of crime that has a cyber, an internet aspect to it. This will range from the so-called Yahoo boys to being hacked to maybe even some defense purposes. Just very recently, I think last week, the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, so it also has an aspect in the economy, Issa Ali Pantami, he, in a paper that was delivered at the National Student Security Summit 2022, this was organized by National Association of Nigerian Students at the International Press Conference, I beg your pardon, International Conference Center in Abuja. He had said that cybersecurity is a veritable tool against all the ills that have been plaguing us in recent times. So we wanted to find out from cybersecurity experts, how this is going to actually work. We've had those experts, but we have with us Dr. Tony Ofoyetan. Dr. Ofoyetan is DG, the International Institute of Professional Security. Thank you very much, as always, Tony, for coming on.
It's a pleasure, Egma. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. And we also will be joined by Bayo Onimode, a cybersecurity expert, as well as Olajumoke Oloyede. In fact, I've seen the first, and I'm going to say that is Mr. Bayo Onimode. Did I get the surname pronunciation right? Mr. Onimode, good morning to you.
Good morning, Uncle. How are you today?
Okay. And so you're very welcome. Now, I just sort of set it up a bit. Even the Minister of Digital Economy, Minister of Communications and Digital Economy has said that Nigeria will be grabbing hold of it. Let me start with you because you're remote and we just want to, cover all our bases. First of all, give me an assessment, if you will, about the state of our cybersecurity systems. How porous are we? How tight are we? What's the situation? Could you just give us a sort of an overview?
Okay.
Yes, Mr.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much, Uncle. So first I would say we're not where we want to be, we're not where we're supposed to be, but at the same time we are not where we used to be. So first and foremost is awareness. So what is happening currently is that the National Information Technology Development Agency, under the leadership of Mr. Kashifoyina Abdullahi, is doing a lot in terms of engaging with the people, enlightening the public in terms of cybersecurity awareness. And what we're doing here today is one of those cybersecurity awareness, which with the team playing in its secured digital cyberspace. So first and foremost, NIDA is an agency of the federal government under the Federal Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy that is responsible and serves as the IT clearinghouse for IT projects of federal government of Nigeria. I'm sure recently we heard about the news where NIDA as an agency saved the federal government of Nigeria over 24 billion naira in terms of looking into details of IT clearance on how people do business with government. So this is one aspect that NIDA is looking at. And of course, in terms of cybersecurity, NIDA is also doing a whole lot in terms of engaging the public, letting the public know what they are meant to do, how do you stay safe and secure while online, and all of that. So these are many more some of the areas that NIDA is engaged in. NIDA has a whole department of cybersecurity. This shows how the importance that the agency attach to cybersecurity and how well they look at the issue of cybersecurity. So because globally it's a moving train, and Nigeria as a country cannot afford to be left behind. So for that reason, NIDA under our parent ministry, the Federal Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy, is deploying resources, both human and other resources to ensure that first you engage the people, first you enlighten the people, let them know what they need to know in terms of cybersecurity. And of course, one key aspect of that is looking at online child safety. So that's what we'll be talking about this morning. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You know, Dr. Foyeton, the minister in his paper said that this cybersecurity drive is the next available option to reduce insecurity in the country. Again, let me ask for your assessment too, because the next available option, I imagine that there is some ongoing work, because what we just heard from Bayo there is that whereas we might not be where we want to be, we're far from where we used to be. So it looks like government is taking it very, very seriously, and if they know, if the minister says so, that it's the next available option. That's something you agree with?
It's not... well, when you use the word next available option, it presupposes that you have not been using it before.
Okay.
Okay. It's actually supposed to be one of the major options, especially in contemporary combat against crime and criminality. Knowing full well that predominantly those that are within this space are the youths, within the ages of as low as 8 years up to 30 years, those that are within this space. That's to tell you how robust and their mind would be and how creative it will be.
But you limited it to 30 years. Some people are 40 and are seeking to be youth leaders in their various political parties.
Well, let's leave that for now.
Okay.
Let's leave that for now. So, but you know, when we come to the issue of cyber security, you are looking at things that have to do with, for example, the issue of hacking of people's accounts now, the issue of online fraud, online internet fraud and all those stuff like that, even including the Internet of Things being used negatively or adversely. Now, having said all this, as it is today now, whether the minister can convince Nigerians that they've been able to use the technology or cyber security to be able to nab some areas of crime and criminal. For example, you talk about people stealing your money and you go to the bank and the bank are not ready to help you. Meanwhile, you can see technologically the means through which the money has moved from one account to the other and the like. But you get to the bank is frustrating you. You get to the police station, the police are not ready to help. At the end of the day, the customer is is frustrated and leaves the money. Now look at the issue of kidnapping. Kidnapping is still striving very highly today because the full deployment of cyber technology is not availed, especially when it comes to tracking of the numbers that are used in communicating and in collecting ransom and all those stuff like that. So for me, as far as I'm concerned, it's a good thing. If you also look at the issue of villagers coming to attack bandits or criminals and terrorists now coming to attack villages and the like, as we speak now, it should have been a foregone conclusion that all our villages are well technologically prone and attended to, as it were. We have solar power technology now. So the issue of now there are no lights in the villages they are no longer tenable. If you remember the American that was abducted and then brought to Nigeria, and the American had to come in through the instrumentality of technology and the like. So it is something that will help a lot. It will so help, and it is more effective than the human approach to security. It goes further. It's able to penetrate even obscure terrains, and it is more effective. It does not compromise. So you see that these are holistic advantages of cyber security. As long as it's not tampered with, it does not compromise. Yes, it does not. Yes, as long as it's not tampered with.
Let me find out if I have. I believe I was speaking with Mr. Bayo Onimode earlier, and I think we also have Olajumoke Oloyede, if I'm not mixing up those names. I don't know. I think we also have someone. Okay, I'm going to chance it and say, yeah, that's, is that Miss or Mrs. Oloyede? Olajumoke Oloyede is a cybersecurity expert. Thank you very much for coming on. Good morning.
Miss Olajumoke Oloyede.
Okay, then. Thank you for joining us. The question, as you know what we're talking about. Could you just give us, in brief, how you, your thoughts on how the internet and the security of it can help in our, campaign against terrorism and criminality generally. Just give us your insight in that area.
Oh, okay. Pretty well, the cyberspace is being used to propagate a lot of things. And I've been on a national project where we talk, we dig deep into the threat intelligence of the country. And I found out that they even use online forums to recruit young ones, and probably they give them so many things to feel comfortable. They promise them a whole lot of things, and then sharing potentially harmful content, like racist or hatred content related things and all. Okay. But I think securing the internet will also help. Nigeria need to be very, very proactive in gathering intelligence so as to know where to bombard. Okay, so during that project, I was able to see all that, and I was so surprised, not really highly surprised, but a bit surprised that we've gone beyond the classical, where they think they only recruit physically, okay? But here we have today, even the terrorist groups outside Nigeria and within Nigeria are there recruiting young ones online. So I believe securing the internet is going to help us, and one of the major ways we can do that is cyber awareness and training the youth, training the end users about the online threat, making them understand what online threat is and what is going on in the world. It is not only to use technologies. It's not enough for us to use policies. It will be also good, and to crown it all, for us to do work on the people's side of cybersecurity. And a very good thing we can do on that is cybersecurity awareness and training. And that's my thoughts, my few thoughts on that.
Thank you very much. But the way most people access, maybe I should bring this to Dr. Ofoyeto. The way most people access the internet broadly at the base of the pyramid is via their device, via their phone. Yes, I don't know, there might be some supercomputers anywhere, because there's nothing Nigeria can't afford. That's why I said that. There might be some supercomputer somewhere that people like Minister Pantami will know about. But the ordinary person who forms the majority, they access it through their mobile phone and all of that. Now, she was just talking, Olajumoke was just talking there about enlightening and educating the people about it. And how big a task do you think that is? Just going by the way our people use social media, I imagine that if there were a hacker on their tail, he wouldn't have too much of a problem, because people just forward any old thing.
I think it should not be a big problem if the ministry is actually, or the agency or whatever is actually determined. There are some contents that actually should be brought on arrival. If you look at what Facebook, Instagram, and all this are doing now, there are certain words that they don't no longer allow. It would not even take seconds. Before you go and come, it's gone. Now, we as a country, the minister should be able to put up a team that domesticated issues that should not be allowed, especially when it comes to, like she said, which I agree with her, recruitment. It's a major, internet is a major tool for recruitment of terrorists, criminals, kidnappers, and the like. Another thing is, look at this issue of money ritual that have gone haywire in Nigeria. You interview some of these boys, they will tell you they got some of these things from the internet. What stops the minister from having a committee that anytime there's any content or a similitude, either in video or in message or in advert of anything of such, it is dead on arrival. if you are posting it 20 times, it's going out almost immediately. You know, those would actually help a lot. There are issues we are facing. Why don't you look at the protagonist of those issues that you want to deal with on the internet and have a committee or a department that is specially dealing with that? Then we now talk about even a reorientation of the mindset through the internet.
Okay.
Because we visit the internet to see a lot of things pumping. Just one word from the ministry or whichever department they put on it, and it's a regular thing. If Facebook want to give you a propaganda, they know how to push that propaganda.
Exactly.
It will go to everywhere. So if you are looking at, for example, the unity of Nigeria, for example, now, there is nothing wrong in such ministry looking at and putting up a template, a model, in such a manner that each time you talk about, you release one or two, it could just be a small flyer.
Indeed.
It could be a small banner. You know, then of course we campaign against certain ills, the ills of terrorism, kidnapping, and the like. These are things that, because you know that is the biggest platform when it comes to information now.
Indeed.
It's the biggest.
Let me go back to Bayo Orimode, who's also a cybersecurity expert. It was Olajumoke who brought it up. I'm sure you also are very much aware of it, that the internet has become a veritable tool for recruiting, you know, all these terrorists, you know, unsavory characters, by which I mean people who are going to work against our general interest, people who are looking to trip us up, people who are looking to take undue advantage of us. Now, I wanted to ask you, how secure are we with what we are hearing also exists called the black web? Because when you're recruiting all sorts of terrorists and mercenaries and all those kind of guys, you probably are not doing it on the regular internet that you know everybody knows for Facebook and Instagram. You're doing it on the black web. Does this extend, this whole matter of the cybersecurity issue, does it extend to the black web? And can they be monitored so that if something is going on that needs our attention, we can know? Can they be monitored?
Yeah, sure. Okay, thank you very much. I think I want to start by first correcting an impression on the part of the DG, that's at the other end. I think the first thing first we need to agree with is that, like the usual saying that security is everybody's business. And so cybersecurity is not different. Okay, so the first thing I want to look at is maybe the next world war will not be the physical world war, the one that will be fought with guns and other arms. It will just be a cyber war. If you look at what is happening in those two countries now, you see that the deployment of internet and all of that is helping to control what is happening at that end. But in terms of, like I said earlier, we are not where we are supposed to be or where we want to be just yet. But we are not where we used to be. And neither is an agency of government, no doubt. I know the Federal Ministry of Information is doing a lot in terms of public enlightenment and all of that. Of course, you also have your National Orientation Agency, our National Orientation Agency at the other end. But one key thing is that I think where we see that we're making progress, we should commend the people that are making us this progress. We do remember some time ago that we had Twitter shut down in this country. And so, after the shutdown of Twitter, that the citizen wants Twitter back, and the government agreed that fine, we will have Twitter back. But before we have Twitter back, we need to set some, we need to agree on some basic things. And of course, today, you do know that our economy is better for it. For Twitter, for Facebook, and other social media. Just yesterday here, the Honorable Minister of Communication and Digital Economy was in Lagos to commission the Microsoft office in Lagos. That's another big thing that is happening in Nigeria. So we have a whole lot that is happening. And so for us, as a Nigerian, I think I want to dwell more on the positive side rather than the negative side. So we're making a whole lot of progress, and this should be commendable. Now, in terms of what is being done and how we can encourage an agency like NIDA, support them in whatever way we can do. Do not forget that first, before a child goes into the society, that child is from a home. So if we're now saying everything is government, this government, that government, what are we doing as parents in the home front? So the first thing first is that we must engage our children. So first you look at a situation where you have a 6-year-old son or 7-year-old son, and the next thing you hand him an Android device or your iPhone or your iPad, you say, go ahead, surf the internet. No, there are a whole lot of things happening over there. So as parents, what are we even doing in the whole front to see that we help control the content they see, monitor what they see, monitor who they also interact with online, such that connections and interaction with ritual killers and all of that is controlled first from the home front before we even talk about pushing this to the government to do for us. So as responsible parents, we must begin to start from the home front, monitor what our children do online. How long do these children stay on the internet? What do they do while on the internet? So we must have this.
So every little bit helps. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we've run out of time. Every little bit helps is what you're saying, Mr. Bayo Onimode, cybersecurity expert. I'm afraid
yes.
Every little bit helps.
Yes.
Yeah. There's so much. It's such a big subject, but I think most Nigerians listening to this and watching this can take away what you've said, which is that look, we're not exactly where we need to be, but then we're a far place, away from where we used to be. So thank you very much for that. We'll take that as the takeaway, and hopefully we can do this again and delve more into these whole subjects. Thank you very much. And to Olajumoke Oloyede, I want to thank you very much as well. How about, did you want to comment on that question about the dark web and how much of a threat that is, or is it all internet? What serves with one can serve with the other?
Okay.
Very briefly,
the
please.
Dark web is still part of. Okay. The dark web is still part of the web, and probably it's just the part of the web that is not indexed. And one other thing I know happens there is grooming of young children in other groups, in other threat actor groups, and I think one good thing that will really help is national monitoring, national threat monitoring on it. Let's know what's going on there so that we'll be able to put the right content out to children in our own domain. Because if we don't know what is trending, we will tend to miss out. So we need to do active monitoring and also to bring back home the content so that it will be relatable and it will as well help in online child safety.
Indeed. I want to thank you very much. We're running out of time, but thank you very, very much. And as I hoped with Bayo Onimode, I hope we can do this again. Just going now, Dr. Ofoyetan, she said monitoring. It's a big one. It's a big one, but at least
it's achievable.
It's achievable. The longest journey can start with the first step, right? So,
I think to some extent the government is monitoring. I think the whole thing is just also looking at other climbs and seeing which one is being climbed upon and which one is allowed. But I think my own is that monitoring should be domesticated to meet our own needs here.
All right, then. We've got to leave it there, Dr. Ofoyetan. Thank you very much. Dr. Tony Ofoyetan, DG, International Institute of Professional Security, and also our thanks to our two cybersecurity experts, Bayo Onimode and Olajumoke Oloyede this morning. Well, that's the program today. Please, thank you very much. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.